Today I've come to Cambridge and we're going to look at a roundabout. It's the first of its type in the UK and it's known as a Dutch-style roundabout. Is it any good? Meh. What is a Dutch-style roundabout? In simple terms, it's a roundabout upon which pedestrians and cyclists are given priority over motorised vehicles. As the name suggests, the inspiration for such a roundabout design comes from the Netherlands, where, for the most part, they build infrastructure properly. The way it works is that cyclists have their own cycleway around the roundabout with pedestrian crossings on the roundabout entries. If you're driving a car, it is required that you give way to cyclists and pedestrians, even when exiting the roundabout. Furthermore, the traffic lanes have been narrowed on the approaches, and the whole point is to make it safer for cyclists and pedestrians. And if that means slowing down the traffic, so be it. But in any case, the roundabout is situated within a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, so that shouldn't really be too much of a concern. So why did they decide to build it? Mainly because Cambridge is at the top of the list when it comes to being a cycling city. They love a bit of Leica in Cambridge, so it shouldn't come as much of a surprise that Cambridge Council want to be at the forefront of any cycling-related infrastructure project. But also, with a hospital, university, college and a host of other stuff located but a short distance away, the roads in this area are a popular route for commuters, and in Cambridge an awful lot of people use their bicycles. Oh, and the council didn't have to pay for it, so they thought anyway, but we'll come back to that. Before the new roundabout's installation, it was noted that there was an unsatisfactory level of collisions, injuries or even fatalities at the roundabout between Fendon Road and Queen Edith's Way, possibly due to its lack of pedestrian crossings and cycle infrastructure, so Cambridge Council came up with a solution, the Dutch-style roundabout. It works in the Netherlands, so why can't it work here? Planning for the roundabout began in around 2015, with construction starting almost immediately in 2019, which of course was delayed, and the roundabout opened in August 2020, only 4 months late. And why do we think there were delays? Because somebody didn't do their job correctly. In short, they started to build the new roundabout and then discovered there were a load of cables and utilities in the way that they had no idea existed. You'd have thought some sort of land survey would be carried out, but nah, who cares, just start digging and worry about it later, right? Still, whilst it was delivered late, it was at least massively over budget. The project's starting cost was £800,000 to be paid for by the government and what's called an S106 developer contribution. This is like a legal bribe paid to councils to ensure a property developer gets their own way. To be fair, in this case, the developer was building the Cambridge Biomedical University, which is probably something we want. Anyway, as it was, Cambridge Council weren't really going to be spending much, if anything at all, so this all seemed like a win-win. But then they discovered those cables and utilities, at which point the price went up to 1.1 million. Then it went up to 1.4 million. Then 1.8 million, by which time it all started to get a bit silly, so they settled on a final project price of 2.2 million. I'm happy to stand corrected, but I think that small difference in cost had to be made up by Cambridge Council, so in the end it's not quite the win that they had in mind. Still, the tarmac is lovely and red, and the super good news is that the roundabout doesn't seem to have made any difference to the accident rate. Some articles would have you believe that the accident rate has increased, but don't believe the hype. Over the last few years, the roundabout has seen a significant increase in use by cyclists and pedestrians, so naturally we can expect an increase in incidents. I think if you start to look at the numbers properly, it seems to balance out, so you could say that this new roundabout has made no difference. At least in that respect, it's fair to say for cyclists and pedestrians it's a whole lot better than what they had before, so surely this roundabout is the answer to all of your cycling issues. Well, no, because the next roundabout along is even worse, but as part of a well-funded infrastructure system that's been built correctly with all forms of transport considered, I suspect they could work quite well, but we don't really have that. Despite all that, you can expect to see more of these roundabouts bolted on to woefully inadequate infrastructure at great cost as more councils across the country start to install these roundabouts as the magical solution to all of their problems. Thanks for watching.